Why didn't Jungkook speak? What Taehyung did next will break your heart. Inside BTS's private response to Jimin's disturbing condition in military camp. They say silence can be louder than screams. But what if that silence comes from someone known for his empathy, his protectiveness, someone like Jungkook? Why did Jungkook look away the moment he heard the news? Why did Taehyung rush out of the room without speaking? Why are fans left with cryptic clues instead of answers? And perhaps the most haunting question of all, what happened to Jimin inside that military camp that made Taehyung weep? In the world of BTS, where the 7 brothers have stood together through storm and sunshine for over a decade, even the briefest ripple of concern can echo like a thunderclap. But this time it wasn't just a ripple. It was a tsunami that began with a whisper, one no one expected to hear. It started with a letter. A handwritten note, folded meticulously and marked with the inked initials PJM. Jimin, known to ARMY as the heart of BTS, the angelic voice performer with a disarming smile and a soul made of soft edges, had written a personal message, not to the fans, not to the media, but to his brothers. The letter reached Taehyung first. It was delivered through one of their shared military liaisons, who had received it through unofficial channels.
No cameras, no filters.
Just words, raw, uncut, and trembling between the lines. Taehyung, upon reading the letter, reportedly turned pale. Witnesses say he was mid-rehearsal, laughing with some enlisted friends during their rare downtime when the envelope was placed into his hands. Within moments, his laughter ceased. He clutched the note, stepped back, and asked quietly for a moment alone. When he returned, his eyes were swollen, his voice hoarse. He didn't say a word to anyone. What was in that letter? Why did it shake Kim Taehyung, the man who walked onto international red carpets with unshakable grace, the one who always found the words when others couldn't, into total silence? And what about Jungkook? According to close sources from the military staff, Jungkook was informed not long after Taehyung. But his reaction was even more unsettling. He didn't scream, didn't cry, didn't even ask any questions. He simply went still, as if something inside him had shut down. Some described it as a kind of frozen grief, the kind that only manifests when the mind can't comprehend the weight of what it's just heard. But what exactly had they heard? To understand the full gravity of what unfolded, we must go back several weeks, to the unspoken struggles inside the camp where Jimin was stationed. Jimin's letters from the dark, it was meant to be routine. Just another week in the tightly scheduled rhythm of military service. But for Jimin, who had always poured himself into everything with wholehearted intensity, the rigidity of military life brought more than just physical exhaustion. There were rumors, whispers between fans who claimed to have spotted Jimin looking pale during a brief public appearance near the base. Some even claimed he appeared thinner, slower, subdued. At first, ARMY dismissed it as overanalysis, the kind that naturally comes with celebrity obsession. But now, in light of what has surfaced, those whispers feel more like warnings we failed to heed. Jimin had been struggling, not just with the physical intensity of training, but with isolation, with the emotional toll of separation from fans, from music, and most painfully, from the 6 brothers who had become his home. In one of the letters leaked unofficially by a military acquaintance, who has since deleted their account, Jimin allegedly wrote, "There are nights I forget the sound of laughter. I stare at the ceiling and wonder if the world is still turning the same way it used to. I'm not weak, I promise I'm not. But something inside me feels broken. I miss them. I miss everything." He didn't name them. He didn't have to. They were Taehyung's breaking point. Taehyung has always worn his heart close to the surface. Fans know his gaze, the way it softens when he looks at his members, the way it sharpens when he feels protective. His bond with Jimin has long been one of the most cherished by ARMY, a friendship forged through shared dorm rooms, late-night confessions, and years of growing up under the same spotlight. So when he read Jimin's letter, the one only he and Jungkook reportedly received in full, something inside him shattered. He didn't hide it. Witnesses say Taehyung, after reading the letter in full, spent over an hour alone in the field behind the barracks, pacing. He was seen wiping his face repeatedly, shaking his head. Some said he was talking to himself. Others believed he was praying. One fellow soldier, who asked not to be named, said, "I've seen him cry once before, during a memorial for someone he admired. But this was different. It was like he was crying for someone who was still alive. Like he wanted to reach Jimin and couldn't." And Jungkook? He didn't cry. He didn't speak. But when he returned to his quarters, he reportedly sat down at the edge of his bed and stared at the floor for over 30 minutes, unmoving. His roommate, unfamiliar with the internal dynamics of BTS, initially thought Jungkook was simply tired, until he realized the younger man hadn't blinked in a while. He looked like he was trying not to exist, the roommate later commented. The silence from Jungkook, the tears from Taehyung, two opposite expressions of the same pain. Absolutely. Here's part 4 and onward. The story will continue unfolding with emotion, tension, and layered introspection into each member's reaction, drawing readers deep into the heart of this moment between Taehyung, Jungkook, and Jimin, a letter no one was meant to read. The full contents of Jimin's handwritten message remain unreleased, but pieces of it have begun to leak, not through malicious intent, but through the heartbreak of those who read it. One soldier reportedly broke down reading the last lines, whispering, "He's crying on paper. You don't understand. He's smiling in front of people, but the paper knows the truth." According to unofficial sources close to the military base, one segment of Jimin's letter read, "Some mornings I wake up hoping it's just a dream, that I'll hear Tae laughing from the next room, that Jungkook's music is playing too loud again, but the only sound is boots, marching, commands, silence." He wasn't asking for sympathy. He wasn't asking for rescue, he was simply revealing this quiet unveiling of his vulnerability, something Jimin has always kept carefully guarded behind practice grace, is what broke Taehyung. We are told he spent the next few nights not sleeping. Fellow enlistees noticed him sitting by the window in the dorms, watching the stars. He clutched a small notebook, the kind Army had seen him carry during concerts to jot down ideas. This time he wasn't writing lyrics, he was writing to Jimin. "Do you feel cold at night too? I would have brought you the old hoodie you loved, the gray one. You remember? You wore it so often the elbows tore. I didn't think I'd miss that. But I do. God, Ido." He didn't send it. He couldn't. Regulations and chain of command made communication between enlistees nearly impossible unless pre-approved. But the emotion was there. On every page. And in every tear-stained margin. The moment Jungkook chose silence while Taehyung turned to ink and paper, Jungkook turned inward. Perhaps that's what made the contrast so jarring. Two best friends responding to the same heartbreak in such opposite ways. The golden magne of BTS, always ready with a joke, a shoulder, or a song, had gone eerily quiet. Military staff who had admired his discipline noticed a stark change in demeanor. He fulfilled his duties, he followed protocol, but something was missing. It was like watching a clock tick without sound. Those who knew him best, those saw through the stillness. One commanding officer noted. It wasn't detachment. It was suppression. He wasn't numb. He was holding something back. He would stare at the phone during contact hours but never made a call. One night he just whispered Jimin under his breath and left the room. And that was it. The only verbal reaction from Jungkook that anyone had reported. Until one night, weeks later, he played a song. Not one of his own. Not even a BTS song, he played Promise.
Jimin esse solo punto loudly.
On repeat. For an hour. No words. No explanations. Just the soft melody of Jimin's promise to fans and perhaps, in that moment, a reminder to his brothers.